We're digitizing this one today. A lot of details. So today's episode, the 3 tools to create logos. Really, it comes down to 3 tools that we really use. Just to give you some insight here, this is going to be a 3-inch wide. So I'm going to talk about these 3. The column A. So this is the one that everybody has. So digitize columns of varying width and stitch. We're going to do side A. Let's call this side, this bottom side, side A, and this top side, side B. All right, so side A, right? And then the cool thing about it, you can see it's giving me the distance, all right? So that's a big advantage to this one because it's telling you as you're stitching, it tells you your width. This is going to be a stitch angle. If I want my angle to be here, click it here. If I want it to be straight up, click it straight up, right? But if I do it here, so I just created side A, side B. If I want to move on up, I could hold control. It'll keep that line straight because sometimes you might like be off a certain angle, right? But if you want to keep it perfect, and same thing here, right? So this is my stitch angle. So my stitch angle starts right here. Since I made it go straight here, it's gonna automatically adjust itself by the time I get here. And then when I get here, click there. Okay, I'm setting that stitch angle right there. And then when I push enter, so you can see how my stitch angle is right there. This middle should be perfectly 90 degrees. And then here is back up. All right, so this one here, column A, probably the most popular tool of all digitizing software. Let's go to column B. Column B, that is like the reason why I love Wilcom. That's like my bread and butter here. Column B, I come in. So if I'm doing this rectangle here, right, I'm going to click on this corner. I'm going to do side A first. I do side A first, push enter. Then I do side B. And then on the bottom left-hand corner, it says, hey, enter angle 0.1. So I just enter in my stitch angles, right? 90 degrees, bam. Then I walk, I'm gonna walk, bam, go to the next one. I could select this, just copy this, right? Bam. Then by using these, you could just make it the way you want it. Now, let's talk about this one, this leg right here. So I want this to push against this bottom rectangle, right? So column B, bam. Then I push enter. Now it wants me to do the bottom side. Kind of go past a bit. This is where we're going to do our blending, right? See, you see this little thing right here, right? We don't want this stuff right here. That's the auto split, right? So what it's saying is here, I have the auto split click. It's saying, hey, auto split, once you get above 7 millimeters, auto split, but we don't want that. So let's say we put 10, right? Sometimes you want to put one, it'll remove it. But instead of putting 10, I just remove it. We can measure this and we're at or above 7 millimeters. So here you could just see how we're making a miter joint, right? We could just copy this, bam. So we want that overlap, right? When we're doing this miter joint. And I want to talk about this stitch angle that I'm doing. My stitch angles is moving, bam, from left to right. All right, that's what I want. So in order to get this nice clean miter blend, all right, you want these stitches to be running parallel to each other. When we're getting these miters, we want this stitch to combine like this, right? So they blend in together. Come up here, bam, select this. A lot of it is just rinse and repeat, right? Mirror horizontal. Right, in theory, this should already. All right, we have that auto split. Cool thing about column C, digitize columns or borders of fixed width. So we can right here, I'll put 2.25, right? And then you can see this circle, it's telling me how, that's the width that I just put. Because if I put 5 millimeters, that circle gets bigger, right? That circle got real big right here. So that's the cool thing about this one. It gives you like a little bubble to show you. So I would just click from corner to corner. So I put it here. It's going to tell me enter width. My width is already good. Bam. All right. So it didn't close yet, but I'm going to select this and then, oh, edit. Close curve with a straight. So it'll just close it here. I'm kind of short right here, but we're going to offset this. Put this gold. All right. All good right here. So we're getting good coverage. Let's put that underlay. So we're pretty thin, 2 millimeters. All we need is a center run. Everything in embroidery, if there's something you don't like, everything is editable. You get a little gap there, there's no such thing as, hey, you know what? There's nothing we can do about that gap. No, there's no such thing as that because everything can be adjusted. Actually, let me rephrase it like that. Everything in digitizing can be adjusted, right? Especially if you have the correct software where we can go in and we can go, of course, the first step is to identify the problem. Second step is to zoom in to that problem, right? So if we're going here, say we get any type of gapping here, we can add our width, right? Let's say 2.25 was a little hair short, we can go 2.5. And then the outside part, so when I trace it, it gives it to me right on that line. I want to push it out so it connects to the line, offset it to a 90, right? So look at my width. My width is at 1.50, very super thin, okay? Now, once we're going super thin, we got to make sure we get that coverage. And we're getting that coverage, right? We're minimizing the gap by making sure this yellow, right? So you can see that overlap with that yellow, right? So then when we measure it, let's measure how much overlap we get. We're at about 1.38. Let's just call it 40. Let's push play. I'm going to do a global underlay. You can see how I'm putting bridges here. All right. And that's just because we're going to have our sand stitches running in different directions. So it's going to do the first object here. And then you can see the underlay that I'm using. Edge run with a zigzag. The more wider your sand stitches, the more underlay you need. This is all being done without any unnecessary cuts. So next, I'm going to go with my gold. All right, underlay band's gonna go around. So we only have a center underlay, right? Because it's so thin that I don't need extra underlay. And then that was it, 6,300 stitches.